I wanted to welcome everyone here on this new live session on the Parentally channel. For those who don't know me yet, my name is Carol. I am the founder of Parentally, and we are a platform dedicated to helping new and future parents find all the extra care they may need during pregnancy, birth, postpartum, and their first years of parenthood. So we provide information, community support, and also access to professional support. And I'm very happy to have you here today, Sandra, to talk about homeopathy. Before I give you the floor, just to remind our viewers that we have a YouTube channel. Don't forget to follow us on parentally.nl on Instagram and on YouTube to view other videos like this one. And now the floor is yours. Sandra, can you please introduce yourself?
Yes, no problem. Hi, I'm Sandra. I'm a professional homeopath, and I work basically in energy medicine because I also teach Reiki and I work with Reiki, but I work also with the flower essences and the combinations of different flower essences and tissue salts, which is basically, in a nutshell, it's all energy medicine. I'm also the founder and the director of the Hague Natural Health Center, which is a collaboration of various different therapists of all different sorts, like energy medicine, but also body work and psychology, like therapists with, basically an all-around collection of, people helpers, I guess you would say. But we like to work together and for our clients.
That's lovely. And the Natural Health Center in The Hague just opened a few weeks ago, so congratulations on that. I'm very happy to have you here today to talk about homeopathy, because I think there's something that people don't know much about. So that's the plan today, to talk about it and learn what it is and how it works and how it can be used and how it can help during pregnancy, birth, and also the rest of, postpartum and parenthood, and also for children. But maybe we can start with a very basic question. What is actually homeopathy?
So, homeopathy is, it's based on the idea of like cures like, and what that means is like your body has the natural ability to heal itself. It does that every day. When you bump yourself and you get a bruise and it heals the bruise, or you have a tooth pulled and then it slowly heals. So the body has the ability to heal itself. And homeopathy assumes that every symptom that your body is producing is a way that the body is trying to rebalance itself. So when we're doing a consultation with homeopathy, we're asking questions about everything, like how are you feeling? What are you thinking? What kind of symptoms does your body have on the skin? How about your digestion? So all of these different aspects of what's going on in your body, what you're experiencing, because we see all of those as little signals of the body trying to rebalance itself. Another way of looking at it is like the traditional medicine, when you go into the doctor, it's called allopathic medicine, and it's based on like the law of opposites. So, and that's also really important, because if you're bleeding or something, you need to get that stopped. Or if you're doing something, you need to go to the doctor for life-threatening emergencies, and they help. So also in medications, though, if you have depression, they'll give you like an antidepressant, or if you have inflammation, it's anti-inflammatory. So that's why it's the law of opposites, where homeopathy is looking at your symptoms, and then what we give you is something in nature that mimics the same symptoms that your body is producing, so that like sometimes your body is stuck and it keeps having the same symptoms, and then it needs that little push in the body. So what the remedies do is they give your body that push to get through it and balance itself and heal itself. So it's really just a help from the remedy for the body to do what it's already doing. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. No, it totally makes sense. And how does it work basically? Like, what do the remedies look like, and how can you use it basically?
Yes. So the remedies are actually, they come in different forms, because some people are lactose intolerant.
Yes.
So they can't have, so they can be in liquid form, but they could be in little pilules that are sugar-based, or they could be lactose-based. Generally, they're the sugar pilules, but sometimes you can get them in lactose or a water and alcohol solution, but you can also get it in the non-alcoholic solution, and then you just put that one in the refrigerator, but usually it's the sugar pills. And you can take them generally from like during pregnancy, after like babies. It's like energy medicine, and since we're all energy, then it can even work on plants and animals. Like I use homeopathy even for my dog, but to help him, you know, especially when you get a new puppy and you bring him home and he's a little bit anxious, you know, you gotta give him something to, you know, kind of calm him a little bit and make him feel a little bit relaxed so that he transitions. But I've seen that homeopathy can work even alongside, if you're on medication, for example, antidepressants. It's not as, because then we have to work, it's like your body gets a little confused. It's not the most ideal, but it can work side by side with different medications. And sometimes it's even helpful if we work together with the doctor to help wean people off of the medications.
I see.
So then, because the idea of homeopathy is that you don't have to keep taking medications. Like you take just what you need and then you stop and the body takes over.
Okay. Okay, I see. And actually, before we really dive into the different types of remedies and that can help during the whole parenthood journey, I have a question regarding what's a consultation, like a homeopathy consultation, does look like. Like if you are new to homeopathy, can you just decide to go see an homeopath? What would be the first consultation like? And also an important question, is it for everyone? I mean, yeah.
Yes, okay, that's a good
And it's actually 3 questions. So it's a long answer.
So the homeopathic consultation is usually it's about an hour to an hour and a half. Sometimes it goes to 2 hours, but we try to keep it to an hour at most. It depends on what the person is going through. For, you know, like if it's a chronic situation, then we kind of go from like what's been going on since the pain started, you know, because chronic illness usually doesn't just appear like this. It's like you've kind of slowly been building up, and then suddenly it becomes unbearable, and then you need to do something about it. So it's quite the homeopathic consultation. It's very unique to the person, and the prescription is very unique to the person. So if somebody were to come in with a migraine, for example, and the migraine is like, oh, I feel the pain right here. And then somebody else has been diagnosed with a migraine, and they say, oh, the pain is like right here, and it sits right here, and it lasts a week. You know, so it's very unique. So this is why the consultation itself takes a little bit longer than a typical doctor's appointment, which is like, oh, you've got a migraine, let me give you a prescription. Because we look at the unique symptoms of the person, and then it takes a little bit longer, because maybe somebody has migraine and they have stomach upset, or migraine and pain in the left toe, for example. So it takes about an hour and a half, and then we sit there and we try to make an assessment of what's going on in the body. But usually we look to, you know, when did it start? What makes it better? What makes it worse? And so all of these kinds of questions are what we ask in the consultation. And actually, it could be anybody. It could be, you know, I've treated elderly people with, you know, what's it called? Actually, I treated elderly with cancer.
Okay.
Because they, you know, but it's not that homeopathy can cure the cancer. It's more that the homeopathic remedies could give a better quality of life, like so that their symptoms are a little bit less and they're a little bit less pain. So it could be, and just yesterday I had a woman come by because her baby had an earache.
Okay.
And it seems that everybody seems to be having earaches. I've treated 4 earaches in the past 2 weeks. But this woman came, it was her son's birthday, and he was supposed to be at the birthday party, and she said, is there anything you can give to him? Because it was just beet red, you know, and he just didn't want to go to his own birthday party, which was really sad. But so it's really like across the board, lots of, like I said, it's for anybody. with an open mind. And I think people that finally get to go to a homeopath is because they've already tried everything and they said, okay, I guess I'll give it a try. But really anybody can use it, even pregnant women. Yeah. Especially, I think, even that, because it's more gentle. There's no chemicals in there. It's more energy. So there's no side effects and there's no toxic things going into the body. So it's very safe. It's a good complementary medicine.
I see. And maybe a stupid question, but is it only to cure or also to prevent? Like, do you consult with a homeopath only when you have symptoms that you want to kind of get a remedy for, or is it also something that you can take, on an ongoing basis?
No, it's not a stupid question because, so for example, with me, when I started taking homeopathy, probably in my late 30s. Before then, I was very much go to the doctor, give me some medication, get it, out. And I have to say that as a preventative for my menopause time, that it really helped me so that when, every time that the symptom came up, I used homeopathic remedies or like other energy medicine, so that my body continuously, like you can be in complete healthy balance one moment, and then the next thing, I don't know, there's death in the family or something is, and then all of a sudden you're out of balance. So it's like really just a constant maintenance, so that in that way it's preventative because you're constantly not using chemicals, you're working with your body, and then in that way you're strengthening your body each time it gets ill. So you're giving it like, oh, this is what the body needs me to do, so you give the remedy that helps the body do what it's doing. So in that way it is preventative, because I was really lucky. For me, menopause was very, like, the transition was almost like I hardly had any symptoms. Like, I knew I was going through it, but it was very minimal, and then the remedy helped it. And so anyway, I hope that answers your question.
It does. And are there any risks that can be associated to using homeopathic remedies?
No, I think the worst thing that could happen is you could have an aggravation. And then that would be maybe sometimes it's, so another baby that I was working with recently, and still working with him, is he's only 6 or 7 months old. And he's had eczema for a really long time, and when they took him to the doctor, they just kept giving him the cream. But the cream is actually suppressing it, and the body's trying to throw it out. So when I give a remedy, sometimes I have to be careful, because then it's a really long process, because the majority of his life he's received suppressive medications when his body's been trying to take it out, and then when you give a remedy, it pushes everything out, and then it's like, you freak out because he's getting worse. But actually it's kind of in the same way as a fever. Like, the fever, what it's trying to do is burn the virus, so it gets worse and then it gets better. And it's the same way as with the eczema, but it's harder to go through that process because you see it. Like, let's imagine that the eczema was inside, affecting the internal organs, and you don't see it, so you just think, oh, well, okay, it's easy to ignore. But when it's on your skin and your face, you're like, oh my God. So, to me, eczema is the most difficult to treat, because people have a tendency to want to just get rid of it and put something else on. So, but if you can go through the process and work with the body, and in that case, like the eczema, like the body shifts, and then the eczema changes color, for example, or consistency, and then you give a different remedy. So we're constantly staying in contact with the parents, so that we know, oh, the body's doing this now, we need to treat it that way. And that's how we work also with the acutes. So like if the child has a cold, or a cough and a cold, you give one remedy, and oh, the sore throat's better, but now he's got a tummy ache. So those are those little acute situations you have to. So I really like to give mommies, like the little mommy and me kind of, like, it's more of like an empowerment tool when they learn how to use remedies for the first aid kind of thing. Because the child gets, like, their immune system gets stronger as they get older. And then they learn to recognize, oh, something's not right, then they can say, oh, Mom, I feel like this. But then if you suppress it more often, then they disconnect with their body, and they don't recognize when they need some help, So Did I answer your question?
You did. You did. But yeah, I think we'll go back to this a bit later, because actually it would be interesting to go into what are the, how do you say, I can't find a word, like, I can't find my word. But what are the remedies that you can usually use during pregnancy, like to help you during pregnancy deal with any kinds of
like nausea or
yeah, exactly, symptoms. Yeah.
yeah. So there are definitely lots of depending on what they're feeling, there are remedies that sometimes you have more nausea, or you have backache, or actually you're just tired, to be honest, you know, because you know, many women are still working and then they're pregnant and then they get really tired. So even just pure exhaustion. Many women, because you know, they don't understand how homeopathy works, they prefer Reiki or something else.
Yes.
But homeopathy is very gentle on the body, and especially in pregnant women, their vibration is really strong. You know, they're creating life inside of their body, and they have a beautiful energy there. And it's actually really helpful to help balance, because it's not just the mother it's like the baby. Maybe the baby's like causing these symptoms of nausea, so maybe he needs the remedy. It's really like looking at what's happening and trying to help you know, treat those symptoms in a very gentle way. And of course, because they're so strong and vibrant during pregnancy, hopefully there are cases that are really heavy, but then we can help treat, you know, the woman and the baby simultaneously, because you would be doing anyway. And they're very gentle on them. So what other symptoms that have come up? Yeah, like inflammation in the body sometimes, you know, when you have like, I forgot now what it's called, when your feet are swollen, but just general swelling. We can treat that with homeopathy. And also just kind of sometimes grief. You know, I've had a lot of women come in that they were in the middle of giving birth, or not giving birth, but pregnant and about to give birth, and then they had a death in the family. So then they should be happy and they should be joyful, but then, you know, somebody passed away and they're a little bit sad. So then homeopathy can help with those kinds of emotions to help balance them, because it's really important, as you know, that whatever the mother is feeling, it's affecting the baby when it's in the womb. So it's good to keep yourself in balance even throughout these, you know, of course you're going to feel emotions, but as long as you don't get stuck, you know, it's not that, you know, you're going to feel emotions. That's human and it's normal. It's just, yeah, not to get stuck in that emotion.
What are like typical remedies that are used during pregnancy?
So pulsatilla is a really good remedy. It's very, so the remedy of pulsatilla is made from the windflower. And this is a good general remedy for females and males in general, because it's a good hormonal remedy as well. And of course, during pregnancy, there's a lot of changes taking place. And pulsatilla is made from the windflower. And the windflower, literally, it grows in a group and it moves with the wind. Like, so every time, like the wind goes this way, the flower goes this way. So it's like very constant movement. So the woman who is saying, they come to the doctor and they say, oh, well, where's your pain? What are you experiencing? Oh, sometimes it's here. Oh, sometimes it's here. Or the baby keeps moving and shifting and moving. That would be a perfect energetic similarity to pulsatilla, because pulsatilla is always moving. And so you go, and then the doctor says, well, where is it? Or the homeopath says, where is it? Oh, well, it keeps shifting. And in that way, the energy is similar to pulsatilla. And then there's like one, a really good one that I like to describe, because many people can resonate with this, sepia. And sepia is also a really good female remedy, because it's very hormonal based, and it has an affinity to the uterus. So many women, after they've given birth, and keep in mind, these are general. So
yes, of course.
You still need to see that, because there's a lot of remedies that can work on the uterus. But this one in particular, it's made from the cuttlefish, and the cuttlefish in nature, it looks similar to an octopus, but in actual fact, it's a mollusk. And the mollusk it looks so, because it has all these tentacles, is constantly in movement in the ocean. Like this arm, this tentacle is doing this, another one doing this. So all of this constant movement, again, movement. and then all of a sudden it fears for its safety. So there's like a predator coming and they will shoot the ink to make it black so it can try to get away. Alternatively, it will like camouflage itself into the environment, and then it'll just wait until the predator moves, but it's like lying completely still because they feels for their safety. This is a similar energy to a woman who's just given birth and she's like trying to be the mother, trying to be the wife, trying to be the housekeeper, you know, all of these different hats. And then all of a sudden she's like almost like a burnout, like I can't get up, I'm totally done on the bed, you know, or usually this is also, she's spewing out a lot of curse words towards the family and the husband especially. It's like this big cloud of curse words, but that's the energy of sepia. And a lot of women, I needed that one when I, after I gave birth, because it was like, it's a big transition, you know, whenever the first baby comes and you don't know what's going on and you're just trying to balance. So sepia is a really good remedy. Yeah, there's so many more, and there's, yeah, I hope that helps. There's 2 examples.
You're going to have to write this down for me so I can put it in the caption.
Yeah.
But I believe that I think it's really interesting how you explain things. For me, it was like really a bit, all these things are always a bit mysterious. So I'm really happy to learn about it. But also at the same time, I'm really wondering, is it really working? I mean, like, do you have to believe in all of this for it to work on you? Or, I mean, it's...
No, you don't have to believe it. But funny enough, I have seen some people get better, but they still think, oh, it just happened. I got better. But it's supposed to work gently. It's not supposed to be...
It's gentle, yeah.
Yeah, it's not supposed to be like shocking your body and suddenly everything is gone. You know, we live in that society that wants everything to be gone right away. But ideally, you have a symptom after, you know, something, some reaction in the body that shows you that something's happening, something's changing, and then it should go gently. That's the ideal kind of. And then 6 months later, I had a woman that came in, and she came for something completely different. It was a structural thing, like her knee or something. But then, you know, because we ask all these questions, then the second time they come in, we ask the same questions. And then I said, well, how's this pain? Because the main pain that she came for was structural. So it's really hard to change, like, especially when you're older, like your bones generally degenerate naturally. So it's hard to regenerate them. All you can do is, you know, give something to make it not get worse, like to stabilize it, so to speak. So I went through the list of symptoms. Oh, you came in with this. Oh, you came in with this. She's like, did I say I had that? Oh, did I say it? No, that I don't have that. But she was focused on this main one because that was the one that was bothering the most. So it reduced, but it helped all these others. So then sometimes it's like, oh, okay, well, there's something happening. You know, you just, but I don't think you'll ever get everybody who will believe in it, but I've seen it work even when they don't believe. And then they just continue not believing it. But I have many family members who are that way, like, oh yeah, the pain just went away because I took a nap.
But it's really interesting, and I think it's also interesting to see there is a kind of a cultural difference. Like, for instance, in France, we do a lot of homeopathy, and I see it a lot less here in the Netherlands. But yeah, I see a lot more people getting interested into it. So it's really great that we are doing this live together. And you were talking about, you know, the first like kind of intake consultation. And together we also talked about how homeopathy could also work with babies. I'm wondering, how does it work with babies, since you cannot have this first discussion with the baby?
Sometimes that can be complicated because you cannot ask the baby, obviously. But in this case, we have to ask the mother, you know, and oftentimes within the first year, obviously the baby cannot talk, but the connection to the mother is so strong in the first 7 years, but especially in the first year. So like if the mother had experienced any sort of trauma during the birth, then the baby is coming into the world already feeling a little bit traumatic, you know, feeling a little bit like, oh, what am I doing, kind of. And so that could possibly contribute to the fact that the baby can't sleep, or the baby's, you know, too clingy, or those kinds of things. And so the birth process, and I know you see, you have a lot of doulas in Parentally, and that's amazing, because they're there kind of coaching the mother through to try to keep them calm. It's amazing. I wish I had had a doula.
Me too. Me too.
So, but that whole process is really important, you know, so that the baby comes in feeling already safe, and oftentimes that's not the case. So many of the things that the baby is going through is mostly to do with the birth process and the pregnancy itself. So then we ask questions about what happened during the delivery or right before, or maybe even like one woman, it was like the fact that she went back to work so soon after the baby was born. He suddenly became really clingy, you know, like very, and this is pretty common, like, you know, because women are going back to work, and some children need the cuddleness and the warmth much longer than others. Like some, you know, mostly all of them need it, let's be honest, but some are stronger enough that they could adjust quicker depending on how they came into the world. So we ask questions about how their experience is, but also how they're sleeping. And then also it has to be manifesting somewhere, like maybe they have more colic, or maybe they have a strange stool color, or they're not sleeping. So we try to get as much information from that. And then treating babies can sometimes be really easy, or sometimes be really complex. So just like any other, but it is possible to treat babies, and they're usually very responsive. Like one really good remedy that they could probably buy at the Holland & Barrett is Chamomilla.
Yes.
But in energy form. So the Chamomilla baby, or child even, is like, you give them something and then they throw it away. They're like asking for this little cookie or whatever, and you give it to them and then they just throw it away. It's like, oh, I don't want that. And then they want this, and then, you know, like that classic kind of, but they're also really, really clingy. They're really clingy with their mom. That's a really good Chamomilla picture. That child could benefit from that. But also, like, another child remedy is Belladona, and Belladona is like, it's like all the symptoms of the baby are red, hot, and angry. Like, you see that baby, like, you know, it's like beet red, and he's so angry, and everything is red. Belladona he probably has an earache, or something is clearly bothering him in his throat, or something is really hot, and the baby feels hot. So the whole energy of Belladona is red, hot, and angry. So you can see that when the baby feels it, and you think, well, what is this baby angry about? Maybe he's constipated, or you know what I mean? And he can't tell you, so he's like, something's on. So those are really good remedies for babies as well, but, you know, each one. So yeah, I hope that helps with them. And this is why I like to teach women, because some of these things are, if you learn how to use the basic ones for your child, you get really comfortable when you see it yourself. Like arnica is amazing.
Yes.
I mean, I'm sure everybody knows that, but they don't know it's homeopathic.
Yeah. But that was actually my next question, because everyone knows about arnica. I use it all the time. Every time they have, like, they fall, they have a bump, they have whatever, a bruise. Are there, like, you also mentioned Chamomilla, and I think that's something that's pretty easy to get even at the Kruidvat or anywhere else. Are there any types of homeopathic remedies that you can get over the counter without necessarily, you know, consulting with the homeopath, but that are known to be, you know, good to cure any kind of, you know, common symptoms with baby or with kids?
Yeah. So those two are definitely good ones, but aconite is also a really good remedy.
Which one? Sorry?
Aconite, ACONI. It's a really beautiful purple flower. Anyway, that one is really good. So when the baby has like that first little sneeze, like achoo, and it comes down suddenly, it's a really good remedy for anything that's suddenly, all of a sudden, it's, you know, a symptom is coming on, and it's really strong, and it came out of the blue. 1 minute he was fine, and the next minute, So that's a really good remedy for that, for catching that cold or some, whatever kind of pain in the body, and it goes really quickly. Arnica we talked about, but arnica you forget, like, is also, and these are in energy form, because you can also get chamomile as a tea, but it's like you're looking for the homeopathic remedy. It doesn't work the same.
Okay.
Like there's a difference in the energy versus the actual herb. But arnica, like, was really, really, if people don't believe in homeopathy, when they try arnica on a child, it's like, oh, what did you give them? Because when my son was learning to walk, we were living in the Middle East, and in the Middle East, like, at least where we were, there was a lot of concrete and marble, and so he fell and he started to get this really big, like, huge thing, and I gave him just one arnica, and you could almost see, like, within an hour it was way down, and it was like he didn't even have anything. But arnica, I just love it, even as they're growing up, falling off the bike or something. It's really good, also for shock. What other one can I think of right now?
I have a question actually regarding arnica, because you mentioned, like, you can take it in the energy form, right? Or the other form, which was
the cream.
Yeah.
So they have.
So it's different, because I've had arnica as a cream. I also had it as the little balls of sugary.
Yeah, that's a homeopath. Yeah.
So yes, so that's different. That's completely different.
So actually, I don't think you can get arnica as a tea. I think you can only get arnica homeopathic.
Okay.
Because even when it's in the cream, they've prepared it, because you could even use, if people are afraid to take a remedy, sometimes like arnica or hypericum, you can put it on as a cream, like it's still energetically prepared.
Okay.
And then
I see. I understand. There is a question actually in the comments from Meringa Paul. She asks about baby stomach cramp. Is there any type of remedy, homeopathic remedy?
You can try maybe the chamomile. You can try that. It depends on what else they're experiencing. Maybe, like with, but chamomile can be something you can try. That's a very safe remedy, and it's usually if you have a pharmacy nearby. If you go there, they would probably also ask you, is there anything else the baby's experiencing? Does he get beet red? Like, if he got beet red and he had a stomach cramp, maybe it's belladonna, or if it comes on suddenly, maybe it could be aconite. So it depends on all of the things they're experiencing, but chamomile is a safe thing that they can maybe try for that, that little tightness. And like vomiting, like some babies are constantly vomiting, and they could try, I can never pronounce it, but the short word is like Ipecac, Epeca. I had a woman recently, because the women that I treat with their babies, they end up buying the homeopathic kit. So then they call me sometimes when they're really stuck. And this woman said, oh, my child is vomiting so much. And I said, what did he eat? Oh, I don't know. I didn't see anything bad, or I didn't see anything different. But he just couldn't stop vomiting, and he was getting dehydrated. So I gave her this Ipecac remedy, Ipeca. Anyway, so this particular remedy, it just went away like this. She goes, does it work that fast? I said, if it's a good remedy, yes, it really does. Like, there's another one for food poisoning, for example, that the mother could take if she had bad meat for, this is Arsenicum. And this is another, like, so if you think about Arsenicum, it's actually a poison in its raw crude. So what does poison do? It's like in order for the body to get rid of the poison, it makes you vomit or poop. So so what's happening when you have the poisons, like if you took like bad meat, for example, and it's in the body and it can't get out, so it's making you feel sick. So if you take Arsenicum in an energetic form, not in the raw, energetic form, it forces the body to like take it out. So in that way, it helps to heal and get rid of the poison that's in the body, because you're giving it a poison, and the body's kind of thinking, oh, whatever you gave me is like a poison. So you're matching the energy in that way.
But is this something that you could typically have at home in your pharmacy, like, and just use it when you need it? Because, or would you need to get first, like, I don't know, a prescription?
No, because the remedies that they make for the small kits, if you'd like, we can do one of these days for your Parentally that means I could teach people how to use the remedies, because the typical homeopathic remedies for the mommies, they're lower potencies, so they're very safe. And sometimes you could end up trying 2 or 3 different remedies, like the woman that just asked about the colic. It could be that she has to try 3 different remedies. And usually if you try one remedy, you don't see anything within 15, 20 minutes, then you can try a different remedy. Because that means it's like, oh, the baby doesn't resonate with that. There's nothing happening. Okay. Because usually it's like you're trying to match the energies together, and if it's not even close, it's like goes this way because the body's like, that's not. So that's why it's safe to be able to change. In fact, you need to change that because the body, when it's in an acute situation, it's trying to balance itself. So you need to pay attention to what it's doing. Are they doing this now, or aren't they doing that? Hypericum is a really good remedy to have handy as well.
You told me about that. Yes.
For like when they pull out a tooth, because it works on the nervous system. I love this remedy. But also for women after they've given birth, that's also a really sensitive area. You know, like there's a lot of nerve tissue and things like that need to be repaired. So Hypericum helps to repair all of the tissues that, like the nerve areas, the highly sensitive areas, to repair that in a more gentle and faster way. But also when children, when they're learning to walk and they're putting their little fingers in the door and then they accidentally, and the fingers are also very sensitive. So you give them a Hypericum and it really helps to take away the pain from them. So that's also a really good, awesome remedy to have. I use that one a lot too. Even on people who have fallen in the ice, you know, and they hit their head, and you know, you go to the doctor and they don't see anything physically wrong, but you don't feel that this is a really good remedy for that, because if there's something in the nervous system, you know, it would be related to the nerves on the head. So Hypericum is a nice, safe option to try. And you can see the action like this, even in those low potencies for the mummies. And in the Netherlands, I haven't found any places that actually sell the kits. In the UK, they have like a Mommy and Me, they have a traveler's kit, and they have a basic kit. And I order them from here, and then I have them available for whenever I'm teaching, so that mommies can get them, and then they learn how to use them themselves. So it's quite nice, and it's also empowering, because who are you going to call in the middle of the night, you know?
Yeah.
So you have that handy.
I must be honest, I've never seen a kit, homeopathic kit. I have no idea what it looks like. I know about homeopathy in France, and you get these little tubes with these little sugary balls, like very tiny balls that you have to take.
Yep.
I've never tried homeopathy here in the Netherlands, where I would be very curious to see what it looks like. Also, we could do another session about this. It would be very interesting.
Yeah.
But I think it's nice to know all about these, you know, common remedies that parents can use during pregnancy, birth, and also postpartum. So I will put all of this when I share this live that's been recorded, and I will share it on the feed and also on our YouTube channel.
Nice.
But I think it's really interesting, everything that you shared, and for me it was really all very mysterious, and I was very curious to learn more about homeopathy.
Yeah.
Is it covered by health insurance in general, homeopathic therapy?
So it varies from country to country, but in the Netherlands, I am covered by the insurance if they have that additional supplement. Okay. So like if you have to have that complementary and alternative medicine, I think it's an extra, I don't know, it's an extra thing that you add onto your insurance, and then it's deductible because I had to take this year-long course. But I am covered by international insurance.
I see. Yes. So, yes.
And that one's automatic. I don't think you need a supplement for that.
And for like the remedies for babies, what they actually look like? What do they actually look like? What form do they take? How do they take them?
So you know those tiny little sugar pills that you were talking about? They have the teeny tiny ones. They're like teeny, they're like that, but they're even smaller.
Yep.
And so they dissolve really quickly. I mean, my husband looks at him. He's like, "Is there something actually doing it? This teeny tiny thing is going to do something." But and those are really good also for animals, like like, this sounds like a really silly example, but everything is energy. If you remember that, you remember that the remedies also can help the plants. I'm not an expert on treating plants because you really, but I have treated my dog, and I remember because he was really jealous of my son. It's almost like he wants to be part of the family. Yes. And so he would get really jealous and he'd growl at my son when we're all three sitting at the table because he wants to be part of the table too. Like that's how he was acting. So I gave him a remedy, and it's really like in animals you can see it even easier. It's like, oh, okay, now he's chilled out, and but you can see it almost instantly. Even when he was bitten on his nose by another dog, it was like he was a puppy still, and some other dog came and just swiped his nose. And Hypericum, because the nose is the sensitive part of a dog, Hypericum helped him too. So you can see how this is that same remedy that helps repair the sensitive parts of our body, but it also helps, the sensitive parts of the dogs because they're also energetic beings. So yeah, I find it really, I love it because I'm also always learning, like every person that comes in teaches me something new. So it's quite nice.
Yes, but thank you very much for sharing all of this expertise with us. Yes, it was really nice, and I hope all the parents or future parents who are listening today also learned new things. We got just the last comment that I'm gonna read out loud. Yes, from Maringa Paul. She's the one who asked about the baby cramps, and she said, I tried Colosyntis for stomach cramps during the 6 weeks cramps peak, and it helped.
Nice.
So
that's good to hear.
To know. Yeah. But yes, thank you very much. So this live was recording. Of course, I will share it back on the feed with all the names of the remedies that you mentioned. Somehow you're going to have to help me to write it all down. But it was really, really super interesting. And I thank you very much for doing this with me today. I hope everyone enjoyed it. Please do not forget to subscribe to our channel and to follow parentally.nl on Instagram. I'm going to leave you with you, Sandra. Would you like to say a last few words to conclude
Thank
this
you very
live?
much for the opportunity to talk to your audience. I think
pleasure.
You're doing a lot of great work bringing all these different therapists together to help parents. And I think if they don't, if they don't know anything about homeopathy, I really encourage them to try, because that's exactly when I started, was when my son was born, so that I could treat him and I don't have to run to the emergency room all the time for a minor fever. So yeah, thank you very much for the time and having me on.
Thank you. And so if you want to learn more about Sandra, you can obviously find her on Parentally and also on Instagram. If you have any question, feel free to send us directly at Parentally Questions, or to send a direct message directly to Sandra at Sandra Delgado Quist or the Hague Natural Health Center, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
But everything will be in the caption of this live. Thank you all for watching. I wish you a beautiful day. See you soon.
Bye. Bye.